Hey, what's going on everybody? It's Joel here, and today we're going to be doing the review of the Theragun G3 and the G3 Pro. So last week I did the review on the Hypervolts. Today we're going to be doing the review on the mid-tier and the high-tier Theraguns. I didn't get the Live just because I'm not made of money, and I didn't want to spend the money on that. But a lot of the features and specifications between all of the Theraguns remain the same from the Live all the way up to the G3PRO. So let's first off take a look at what's inside of the included cases. We're already off to a better start than we were with the Hypervolts. They do all come with cases. I actually don't know about the Live, but I know at least the G3 and the G3PRO come with cases. I got the G3 in white, which I would heavily recommend that you do not do because it gets pretty dirty and it doesn't take that much to get it dirty. It does have like a shiny gloss white panel to it on like the exterior parts, and then it's got some matte parts, and then it's got like a rubberized grip, and it's got that signature Theragun like triangle handle. This one does not have an articulating head. And then it's got the buttons right on the back. There's the power button, the speed button, there's a little battery indicator on the side, and then there is the power plug on the Theragun G3. So the G3 comes with a few different attachments on there. I have the flat attachment, and then you do get a small ball attachment. You get a little, like, I don't know, I want to say fingertip attachment, and then you get the cone attachment. Then you also do get a fairly compact charger. I actually like this one in comparison to the G3 Pro just because it's a little bit more compact. Then you get a little instruction manual with that. I'm not going to go into that. So let's take a peek at the G3 Pro, which is the big daddy, which, I mean, if you were to look at both of them, they have the same basic design. The G3 Pro is a little bit fatter in the middle. It's a little bit bigger overall. It is a little bit heavier, weighing in at like 3.1 pounds. The battery on the G3 Pro is removable, so you can pop that off. It does come with another spare battery. And let's see if we can find here. It's a 2500 milliampere battery. So this one does feel quite a bit more premium. It's got a few different textures on it. There's like this crosshatch texture at the back strap of the gun. Then there is a more matte rubberized material inside of the handle. And then there is not a lot of gloss to this, like very, very little. It's only on like the little head part. The rest of it is all pretty much matte. And this unit feels just way more premium than the Theragun G3, but it's a kind of minor thing. It just feels nicer. Then there is the little power outlet, so you can charge this via that power outlet, or you can charge the battery via the dock that it comes with. So you have the options to do that. Then the G3 Pro does have a pivoting, articulating head that goes from there to there to there, then all the way back in. It doesn't go all the way straight, I guess, with the handle. Right, that's as far as it goes, which, I mean, I'm not too worried about. Honestly, the only reason that I think you would want this to pivot straight is if you are using it on somebody, but if you're using it on yourself, you're going to be using it at some kind of an angle, so it's fine. Power buttons on the back, and then you do have your LED indicators on the side here. Inside of this box, you do get the flat attachment that comes on the G3. Turn it on. Hair trigger. And then you get this little carrying case for all the little heads. This one does come with a big ball attachment, which is pretty cool. Then you do get the cone, the small ball attachment. You get this little flat attachment, and then you get that fingertip attachment. And then you do get another battery few different pouches inside of like the case itself. So I'll show you what both looks like. The case of the G3 Pro is obviously going to be a little bit bigger, and then you get your little dock so that you could put the Theragun battery down while you're charging it. Now the actual Theragun G3 Pro does have a much larger charger. It's got like a normal like 2-prong charger that goes into a brick that goes into the unit, and I don't have it with me. I don't know where I put it, but it's just a charger anyways. I guess it doesn't really matter too much. So like I said before, both the G3 and the G3 Pro have pretty much the same specifications, minus one that we're going to go talk about in just a second. The speed on both at the max is going to be 40 percussions per second, and on the slow side it's going to be 29 percussions per second. So you have your power button, fires it up. That's the slow speed. That's the fast speed. And that's pretty much all you get as far as the speed settings. They both have the same amplitude, which is going to be 16 millimeters, which is the greatest out of pretty much all of the percussive massagers out there right now. Let's fire up the G3 Pro. The fast speed. And the slow speed. So, if you haven't figured it out, the Theragun is not that quiet. It's definitely louder than the Hypervolts. So if you wanted a more quiet device, you're going to want to go with the Hypervolts, because the Theraguns are for sure not quiet devices. The G3 Pro is for sure going to be a little bit more on the loud side than the G3, even though they do operate at the same speeds. The G3 Pro has the strongest stall force pretty much of any percussive massager that I have personally used, at a rated 60 pounds of stall force. It takes me quite a bit to stop it. Like, I really have to try, and pretty much if I'm using it one-handed, there's no way I'm going to be able to stop it. With the G3, it operates at a 40-pound stall force, so it's still very hard for me to stop the G3. Like, I have to be trying, and I have to have the right angle, but I can do it. Though I don't think a lot of people are going to be pressing down that hard in order to stop either of these. The Theragun Live operates at 30 pounds of stall force, but honestly, I think that that's going to be fine for just about anybody that's using that device, unless they're a really big person or a really strong person. Then I would probably recommend that they stay away from the Live and they go with one of the upgraded options. But it still has the 16 millimeter stroke length, which is pretty much the defining factor of the Theragun. That, paired with the more powerful motors of the Theragun, make me feel like I'm getting a better massage out of the Theragun, a more effective massage that is taking me a little bit less time to do, because they're just stronger and they push down further than any of the other percussive massagers that I have personally used. Another reason why I really like the Theraguns is that they have the best ergonomics. So with the Theragun, you have a few different options for grips. You have your normal grip, which is what you're going to use for pretty much the front of your body. And then you have this bottom grip that you can hold on to. So if you needed to get your back, you would just grab it there and then just reach around your back. And then you can hit areas that you wouldn't be able to with just a normal straight handle. And then you have this forward grip right here. If you wanted to kind of reach around the bottom of your leg, that's what you would use that one for. And that's pretty much the other defining factor of the Theragun. The ergonomics on this machine are excellent. And that's not even going into the detail that you can go to with the G3 Pro with its articulating heads, which, like I said earlier, are probably going to be better off suited in the hands of a professional, where they're actually working on somebody. For me personally, I usually just stick it at the normal setting and just go with that. So while the Theraguns are the best percussive massagers out there, they're also the most expensive ones. The G3 Pro comes in at a whopping $600. So it's very, very expensive. Not something that just anybody's gonna buy. But if you're looking for the best of the best, the G3 Pro is without a doubt the best one. If you had an unlimited budget and you wanted to buy a percussive massager, go with the G3 Pro. It's just the best one. If you are looking for a lot of the same performance, you liked the Theragun, like ergonomics and everything, then I think honestly most people should be fine with the normal G3, which retails for $400, which is still fairly expensive. But I think if you're going to compare the normal G3 versus the Hypervolt Plus, which is kind of roughly in the same territory, I think the G3 is the better value. I do like the fact that the Hypervolt Plus is a little bit quieter. The 13mm stroke length is still pretty good. It's still pretty effective. But I think for most people, the G3 is going to be the better option just because it's a little bit cheaper and you do get a lot of the same performance. So the cheapest one is the Live, which goes for $250. But for $250, I think there are some other options that would suffice somebody that's shopping around that price category. Like the 8-way massager is a very good value for $200. All in all, the Theraguns are still, in my opinion, the best percussive massagers that you could buy. If you're looking for the most powerful devices, I would say the Theragun is the way to go. If you're looking for the quietest devices, I would say do not get the Theragun. It is pretty loud, and I would probably go with like the Hypervolt Plus or the Hypervolt, or maybe even one of the cheaper options like the 8-way massager. And I should have mentioned this in the Hypervolt video. All of this is all anecdotal. It's all just based off of my own personal use and experience with all these percussive massagers. Everybody is going to be a little bit different. Everybody's needs are going to be a little bit different. I'm not a medical professional or anything, so I can't really speak to the actual effectiveness or the actual usefulness of any of these things, but they do benefit me quite a bit, and I do recommend that everyone should have their own percussive massagers. If you guys have any questions about the Theragun G3 or G3 Pro, feel free to leave them in the comment section, and as always guys, please hit that like button, subscribe, and thanks for watching.